I would suggest starting with the Very Good on your end.
So this is Very Good?
Very Good.
Sweet.
So yeah, Very Good. It's a lactose sour, also fruited. So in this case, we soured it with lactobacillus. We put raspberries and blackcurrant in it. So it's both those berries are very tart as well, but also really rich. And then we're balancing that out with the lactose in there as well.
Cool.
So adding a little more richness with lactose, and then also balancing out that tartness of the sour and the fruits.
Sweet.
Yeah.
What are you gonna try?
I'm gonna do the stout because it's early in the morning.
Sweater weather.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So Sweather weather.
Cheers.
Cheers.
What's that one like?
Let me drink it first, man. Yeah, so Sweather Weather is a oatmeal stout. So we use 30% oats in it. There's chocolate malt and coffee malt from England. But then we've used 240 pounds of toasted coconut in it as well. So yeah, that was the intention, that it was going to be coconut forward. We wanted to get some of that chocolate, some of that coffee note from the malt naturally as well. So we handle the coconut in two different ways. We put a little bit in the boil and then put some in the fermenter as well, like you would for dry hopping.
Yeah, so there's like coconut aromas on it?
Yeah, so coconut aroma, flavor. It's not super intense, although we used a lot of coconut.
Yeah.
I find when you have a lot of body to a beer, and then also with those dark roasty notes too, they kind of play off the coconut. We tend not to use any extracts in our beer, so it's hard to get like a pop of coconut when you're using coconut.
Yeah.
Even with 240 pounds.
Right.
So, but I really enjoyed it. It was really nice. I don't know if you've ever had the coconut porter from Maui Brewing.
I have not, no.
It's fantastic, and
Yeah.
I feel like we've achieved the same amount of coconut that you get in
Oh,
that
that's
beer.
cool.
Yeah.
Wicked.
Yeah, Maui Brewing Company, they have a coconut porter that's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta check it out.
Yeah.
So you guys opened in 2017, like it's been 2 years right now, right?
2 years this
October?
month, yeah.
But you started homebrewing like years before that, right?
Yeah, so basically a year and a half before we opened, I was homebrewing.
Yeah.
My wife and I always just talked about starting a brewery, starting our own company. And I was in engineering, she was graphic design. So we utilized both our skills to come up with a concept for the brewery and then research and all the other stuff. And so, yeah, so homebrewing is really my background. Still love once in a while sitting down and doing a small batch like that because it's, a little less scary on that end. You can kind of play around with more flavors and not, worry about making 2,000 liters of something.
When you guys got the building, Muffler Bay, right? Way back?
Yeah.
And then you chronicled the months that it took from going to an empty building into what is now this awesome brewery. What was that process like building a brewery essentially?
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was. I spent a lot of time ahead of time doing all the research, so I had that all done before. So while I was working at nights and weekends, I would just sit down and kind of do all the planning, figuring out the logistics. So it was a lot of fun. It was 8 months of renovation, so we did it pretty quick, very hands-on. Our head brewer, Alex, joined a couple months after we got the building and helped me do a lot of the renovations here too. So
that's cool.
Two of us had skyjacks and kind of went around and
just learning as you go kind of thing.
Yeah, that was good.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
One of the most inspiring things I've read is actually your announcement that you were I'm unemployed, leaving my job at 12 years to pursue this and put your focus into grain and grit. What was that day like, or that week like? Were you terrified? I would have been.
No, actually not. It was actually more terrifying when we opened the doors.
Yeah.
Because we basically had spent all our money at that point.
Yeah.
So we had a bunch of savings that we kind of were spending throughout the renovations.
Right.
So it was exciting. We had all this money to spend on the brewery and then renovating. And then the day we opened, we had $0 in the bank. And then it was stressful because now it's now we have to start selling beer. We have to start making our money back now. So during that period, I wasn't scared at that point. It was more doors are open now. People got to start coming.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It is pretty motivating though to see two people like you guys, chasing getting out of your comfort zone, doing this thing that you've dreamed about. But when you think about grain and grit, how far it's come in such a short amount of time, is it pretty surreal? Is it surpassed your expectations of what you thought it could be?
It certainly has. I feel like the locals have embraced us. We've done a few things even up front, like you mentioned, documenting the process of a building. And I think people are really connected with our story because we are a husband and wife team who went for this, right? We're not a big investment company that have all these backing. So I think people in the community, even people outside of the community, really embraced our story. loved, that two people could take this risk.
Yeah.
And then as well, we ran a, on the tanks, to be honest, all the name, we ran a founding members program. So Lindsay put that all together, and it was pre-opening. So it was basically a Kickstarter program for us.
Right.
So we raised $25,000 to help renovate the building and stuff. And now I feel like those people are invested in Grain and Grit.
That's cool.
And a lot of those people, they were the first year, now we're in our second year. And we had another membership program, and about 75% of the people signed back up again.
That's really cool.
So yeah, we just feel like people are really connected to us. We've made that connection with all of these people. We see them weekly, monthly, whatever it might be. And yeah, it's just the community thing, and that's what we're really going for here. Number 7 here is our Zagge, which is a German wheat beer. So Alex, our brewmaster, is German. So every year for Oktoberfest, he brews a traditional German beer. So last year we did a Helles. This year we did a traditional German wheat.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's classic. The yeast in it is imparting those banana, spicy clove notes in it. There's a little bit of smokiness to it as well from some of the malts that we used in it. It's a classic, full-bodied, nice and citrusy.
This is the type of beer that I would recommend to someone that's like, I don't know if I like beer or something like that. Someone who's getting into it.
For sure.
Because there's like fruity aromas and flavors that are like, introductory, very good.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. Sweet.
Yeah, so and I'm going to have our invisible friend.
Nice. So, everyone has one of those, right?
Yes. I drink it every night. No, just joking.
And that's American Pale.
It's an American Pale Ale. So it's low on the bitterness, so we haven't gone all the way to an IPA, but we've used just as much dry hopping as we would in an IPA.
Cool.
Going for a super light body, really crisp, really clean, but then also just a punch of fruitiness from all the American hops we use in it.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Cheers. This smells like a lot of cereal grains on the aroma.
Yep.
Very good.
So we got a lot of Pilsner malts in it. There's a lot of wheat malt from Germany in it as well. Yeah, you're going to get that earthiness, that sweetness from the wheat as well. The wheat also imparts a lot of proteins in the beer, so that gives it a lot of body too. So it's got a bit of creaminess to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like you guys started brewing pilot batches in 2017, right? Mm-hmm. But you were home brewing before that. So are there any recipes that you currently brew which like were birthed during that time? Like anything that still lives on?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, so Alex was a home brewer as well. He was a winemaker by trade. So he got his winemaker's ticket. He's got a background in chemistry and biology as well. So he was working at different wineries in Germany. He was in Australia for a year, and he was also home brewing throughout all that too. So we both basically are home brewers. He's a little more technical than I am, obviously, on the fermentation and the cellar kind of work. Yeah. From working in the wineries. But yeah, so we separately brewed for about 1.5 years, 2 years, like home brewing. And then when we connected, we started doing a bunch of pilot batches together. And so I took my favorite stuff, he took his favorite stuff, and we brewed them together. And then also at the same time, we just came up with new stuff. Right. But certainly, we brewed a lot of stuff that was even from our homebrew roots, and then the stuff we did together has made it into our lineup for sure. That's cool. It must be nice to have someone else's perspective like that. Yeah. Especially coming from the wine side of things too. He probably imparts a lot of knowledge that like just makes your things better, and you can help him as well. For sure. Right? Yeah. No, it's 100% a collab for both of us. So sometimes I'll write a recipe from scratch. He'll do it from scratch, but a lot we will. Before we go to brew that beer, we sit down, we review it together and talk about it. And our staff's also really involved too. So the new beers that we're coming up with, we really involve all our staff in that too to talk about flavors and things they like to drink. And so we really. I always wonder that, like, is it how much does your personal preference like play into what you see on the tap list? But based on that, it seems like a lot of it, right? Yeah, it's funny. So I'm not a big sour guy. Like one glass of a sour beer is good for me. I find the lactic acid really takes over my tongue. Yeah. And kind of mutes out some other flavors. So a lot of the sours are from Alex, and then our other staff really enjoy sours too. Lindsay, Katie, our taproom manager. So the sours are kind of Alex's baby. Yep. And then both of us really enjoy fruity IPAs and kind of American pale ales. Right. So that's kind of my side, is like that's what I like to drink. So that's my selfishness. In the lineup, and then the other people like their sours. And then also the tradition I mentioned, like the Zagge. Yeah. We both enjoy like a nice sharp pilsner. So we're gonna throw something like that in the lineup once in a while too.
Yeah,
so.
That's a good way to like balance a flight too, with something like that, like a German wheat or like a Pilsner or something like that as well.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. But when you look on the menu, you have like sours and American pales and IPAs and wheat beers. Like, is there a specific focus, or are you guys just like branching out, trying different flavors and ingredients whenever you can?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. Really, we want to have a really diverse lineup. So when somebody walks in the door here, they're not overwhelmed if they're not a big craft beer enthusiast. We want them to have some familiarity to something they may like. But then we also want to have those fun beers, those like fruity sours and IPAs. So it's a balance of what people want, what's selling, what we like to brew and drink, what's happening in the industry. So
cool.
Yeah, it's a big balance of everything.
You also have like the Reserve Series, Pilot Series, Prohibition Series, right?
Yes.
What are each of those about?
Yeah. So in the beginning, we brewed 2 Prohibition Series beers, and that was something from Alex's background.
Right.
So there was a brewery in his hometown that came out with kind of an APA kind of style beer with Galaxy hop, and he just loved it. So we had the idea of creating something very similar to that beer, but then playing around with different hops in it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a single hop beer necessarily, but there's a showcase hop in it. So we used Humelin, which is a German hop, and then we used Galaxy in the second one. We haven't done that series in a long time. It just, we started playing around with sours and stuff like that. Sours are really popular right now. So we will probably go back to that. But yeah, the Prohibition was based on kind of a showcase hop, something from Alex's background. The Pilot series is basically what it sounds like.
Right.
We brew a small batch on our little pilot system and release that in bottles only. The Reserve series is where we take beer, young beer out of the tank, and we age it on whatever it might be. So we're doing it in stainless, but we're aging it on whether it's wood chips, pine needles, could be fruit.
That's really cool.
Spices. So we're basically taking a base beer while it's still young, aging it on whatever it might be in stainless, and then releasing it 6 months later. You have our only staple beer is our In the Palms. So it's a tropical IPA. I don't like to put it into kind of a genre because the bitterness is kind of outside of what a New England IPA bitterness is. Right. But it's certainly not West Coast either. So I'm just calling it a tropical IPA. But we use mango and pineapple in it as well as lactose. So it's 90 IBU, but you're not going to get 90 off it at all because of the residual sugar from both fruits, and then that lactose in there really helps it balance out. So the showcase hop is Mosaic, very resinous, very citrusy, which kind of helps balance out those tropical fruits. Yeah. It's the beer that we brewed and sold in 6 weeks for the first time.
Oh yeah.
So that was within our first year of operating, and it was like, holy shit, this beer is popular. People are loving it. Yeah. So it just kind of naturally became our staple beer, and that's the beer that the bars and restaurants that we are in, which is limited, a lot of them, that's the one that they go to, where we have kind of as a house kind of beer for people. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what do you have? Do you have the same one?
I have the Crop Circle, so a different IPA. So this is, again, I don't like to put these in genres, but this is closer to a New England IPA. We use Galaxy, Zagge, and Centennial in this one. Malt profile is really on the back end. Thing that's special about it is we've used kind of a Belgian strong grain profile to it. And then we've also used a Belgian yeast in it as well.
Cool.
But the Belgian yeast isn't imparting those like phenolic flavors necessarily. It's kind of a lighter flavor yeast, but it is still a Belgian yeast with a Belgian grain profile, and then with those American resiny hops.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for having us.
Oh, of course.
You do get a lot of like resinous pine aromas from this too.
Yeah,
and the
so
creaminess
that's
is very
from
good.
the Mosaic.
It definitely is deceiving with the 90 IBUs, right? So it's not that bitter at all.
It drinks like a 40 or 50.
Yeah.
We have people coming here and they see 40 on the board, and I don't touch anything over 40. Yeah. And then we get them to try the In the Palms, and like, oh, okay.
I've noticed a lot of people have like stopped even just writing it because they're like, it's just deceiving.
It is. There's perceived bitterness too. So the IBU is calculated, right? Yeah. So it's one acid that's in the hop, how long you boil that hop for, and then it's a calculated value, right? Yeah. But each hop has its own kind of perceived bitterness. We have like Amarillo, which is very grapefruit, can be very rind-like. And then you have something like Centennial, which is a little more fruit forward. It does have a little bit of the citrus, but it's got more fruit kind of sweetness to it too. So it's like it's perceived. And then you have things like wheat beers or saisons where the yeast actually imparts a little bit of kind of bitter kind of notes on your tongue as well.
Right.
So yeah, I know a lot of breweries are choosing to. I think Left Field just decided to wipe out that IBU too. Yeah, because it's a perceived thing. People come in here and they say that. Yeah. Oh, it's 30. I don't drink anything over 20.
Yeah.
It's like, really? Really?
You're pretty limited if that's the case. This has like a lot of orange peel flavors.
Okay, yeah.
And then it's creamy too. It's like an orange creamsicle.
Yeah,
it's delicious.
Yeah, so we use a bit of oats in it as well to give it that. So the oats and the lactose give that full bodied.
Right.
The fruits help with that too because there's a bit of residual sugar that's left from the fruits in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's exactly. We're going for a full bodied, really creamy. It's not a lactose IPA, but it's just there to kind of bump up that sweetness and body. Yeah.
So you mentioned the founding members. I think that was really cool because when you guys announced that, it seemed like you were like you wanted to create a community here, not just a brewery.
Yeah.
By just like opening the doors to your neighbors. But when you saw the brewery fill for the first time, it was at that founding members open house, right?
Yeah.
Was that like a surreal moment where you like, this is amazing?
Yeah.
Must have been pretty wild, right?
It was, yeah. So we did that. I think that was on a weekend. So we had so many members. Our capacity inside is only 30.
Yeah.
But we had 110 members. So we did it over 3 sessions.
Oh, cool.
Over the weekend. So I think we did it Saturday and Sunday. And yeah, it was surreal to seeing all these people who like
You're like
felt our story and then were on board with us and wanted to see us succeed. It certainly is. And even now, like that's probably for sure the thing that I get really excited about and smile about the most is, we're making really exciting, really cool beers. But when I come in here on a Saturday and the patio is packed and this place is packed, and you just see the vibe. It's like that's for me like reminds me why we did this.
Well, thanks for having us in, man.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.